Hey guys, in this video we're going to give you 3 reasons why we do video in real estate.
Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to The Buzz, Coffee and Real Estate. We are jumping in today to take a little bit deeper dive into, last video we talked about some of the 30,000 foot view of ways that you could market your home, okay, from low budget to high budget and some of the pros and cons of all of that. But we wanted to talk really about what the strategy that we found to be the best, and then also take a deeper dive into video. Why is it that we use video? Why do we feel like it's important? Yes. And I'm gonna give the mic over to my video expert guy here, Joshua Jones. But real quick first, just the overview. We're getting professional pictures, professional measurements on the house, okay, all of those standard things. Please don't ever work with a realtor that goes around with their iPhone 4 and takes pictures in your rooms, okay? It just doesn't work. But video. So Josh, why is video important? Because I had zero understanding of this before you and I teamed up, and it just blew my mind when you started talking through it.
Sure. So, I mean, main points is that video is kind of like the uptick for social media, for YouTube, for all of the different platforms that are out there. Okay. So what we're seeing a lot is that people are searching for. So like house hits the market, they type in the address on Google, it comes up, and then they're going to the video tab and they're looking to see where it is. So it may show up on YouTube or Facebook or some of these other places.
When all the social media, from TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of the major ones all their algorithms are pushing towards video.
Exactly.
Right? So everybody's realizing that's the mega trend.
That's right.
So why not be there? And actually, I'm really surprised the number of agents that don't work with video at all.
Oh, 100%.
It's been pretty incredible to see. I mean, there's some out there and certainly moving that direction, but when you got everything that's being pushed on, and Facebook, we do a ton of marketing on Facebook specifically, we got to see, okay, when we're running short quality, high quality videos,
that's right,
we're getting a lot of hits on those things.
Yeah, I mean, so you're seeing the trend in market. So, probably 2 years ago, it was doing your standard video, which would be in a basic horizontal type style.
Okay.
And so now that they've converted, they're doing a little bit of both. So there's a mixture, but you're seeing a major heighten in short form video.
Almost like it looked like it came from your cell phone, right?
That's right.
The portrait style.
Exactly. So they're going long forms, short forms. But the short forms, basically what we're seeing is a lot of people are doing kind of similar to what we're doing with podcast styles, and then they're taking those and converting those into shorter clips out of them.
Yeah.
But what we are seeing in the listing side of things is that people are steering from doing your standard horizontal video to doing walkthroughs, video tours in a reel format.
Yeah.
So rather it's reels on Instagram or it's doing shorts on YouTube or whatever, but all of those are really trending.
So I've seen videos before. Talk to us about the difference between a video that is basically somebody took still pictures and then they just put it in a program that sort of slides slowly across the picture, okay, which looks at first kind of like video.
Yep.
Why is that not as good as actual video?
Sure. So what you're talking about is like you'll have basically like a video slideshow.
Okay. All right. So it's a slideshow, basically.
Yeah. So basically, they're taking they're probably taking whatever they had originally shot of the house. They're putting those into some type of movable, like you said, it's panning or something along those lines. They'll put a little piece of music behind it or so forth, and then it'll just have something out there. And I've seen a lot of agents that are putting those on YouTube. Of course, they're not getting a lot of views on them, but they're at least out there for exposure.
Yeah, which, they look okay.
Yeah.
But when you can have a video that comes into a room and all of a sudden you see fire crackling and you see ceiling fans moving, I mean, that adds a whole nother element to like that the house is functioning, it's open, it's inviting, all of those sorts of things.
Well, you're getting, I mean, anytime you're doing video in comparison to a photo is a still image. So you can't see around in the room, and so when you're doing video, you're coming through a doorway, you're coming through into a bedroom or into a kitchen or so forth. So you're seeing from the same visual that you would see if you were walking the house. You're shooting pictures, you're going to have, this angle or that angle, and some angles are better than others and so forth. So when you're able to kind of go through the room and see, as you're turning the corner or whatever, what it looks like, you get a better idea of space. And we also see this with a lot of photography. They're using really wide-angle lenses, and so with that comes a lot of distortion to the picture.
Kind of looks like the room is round.
Exactly. Yeah. How big is the image? And so you look at the room, you're like, man, that room looks ginormous, and it's an 8x8 room, but it looks like it's 15 by 15.
Right.
Whereas in video, you can't really hide that. You're going to walk into it, and it's going to be pretty much what you're going to see is what you get.
So, question for you on that then: if we're talking about video, why would it not be better to do like a tour factory, a 3D, 360 degree, or a Matterport where you get you can see everything? Why are we leaning towards the video that we do versus that?
Sure, there's a couple of reasons. So, when you're doing like what you're talking about, like the little tour thing, most of those are slideshows.
Okay, so we're right back to the slideshow problem.
Same thing, same slideshow, and you're seeing just those images. Basically, they've just thrown them into a video. Now, when you get into comparables with video and Matterport or any kind of 360 camera that they're going to be shooting those kind of basically center of the room, you can spin it around, see the floor, see the ceiling.
Yeah.
Those things are great for a house that's in immaculate condition, or that somebody's not living in necessarily, or it's staged well, and maybe they're not going to be in and out, because most sellers are living in the house, and so it's hard for us to take a 360 and make every part of the house immaculate, because they're going to have boxes, they're going to have storage, they're going to have different things, and so you're going to see everything. And so sometimes you don't want to see everything. The closet's full of stuff because they've moved everything out of the room or things like that. So a lot of the time, somebody that does one of those, like a buyer's going to kind of go through and they're going to walk through. One, the movement on it is time consuming. I can watch a video in 1 minute and see how the house is going to look, or I can go through Matterport and I can go to room to room to room, and I'm kind of in it. Sometimes it's a little, especially on a phone or something like that, it's a little bit more taxing to get through them. You're clicking on different things. I've had it where I've clicked on it and shot me in the basement and sent it to the next room and stuff like that.
The technicality of the software could be a problem.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is, for the seller, the advantage for the seller is, if you're not one of those 5% homes, I would say 1 out of 20 we walk in and we could say, like, this could get away with a Matterport.
That's right. Yeah.
The other 19 out of 20, you're looking at, well, we got boxes stacked in the corner, or we got grandpa's old rotting lazy chair, lazy boy chair over there. Yeah. We can't really move some of these things, right? It's our natural furniture. It's the way we live. Yeah. We've cleaned it up, but we still we kind of need this angle right here to be the one that people first see. Yeah. And I mean, that's not a point of manipulation. That's not a point of deceit. Yeah. It's a point of, we're trying to accent the home well, give somebody a taste of what this could look like as their house, and then invite them into a tour, right? I mean, the whole point of the video is kind of like the whole point of high-end photography, which is to get someone to the house, to be able to see the house.
Exactly. Well, and the other thing is, with Matterport, there's a lot of distortion to the picture. And I don't mean that like that it looks bad. It's that you can't tell how big or small a room is. Because you can zoom in and you can zoom out, and sometimes, and I experienced this when we were looking for our house the first time. I looked at a lot of Matterports and I'm like, well, this is nice because I can see everything. Sure. But what happened was I thought the room was much bigger than it was, because it's zoom in or zoom out, and so you can pull that zoom out, and you do get the bowing in the room and so forth. So it does distort the image so that you don't know if it's exactly how big it is, and so that's one piece of it. We'll say one of the benefits is that they'd have the story, kind of the dollhouse box.
I like that aspect.
So you can kind of see it, and you can kind of get a feel, and you know where all the rooms are. Sure. But I would say that's probably one benefit that they have over video. But in most cases, if I'm videoing the house and I'm walking it as if walking through the front door, walking to each room, you're going to know where the platform is. Versus like on those, you're kind of walking in and guiding yourself through it. So it does have a benefit, and it has its place, and I think it's a great platform, but I don't think that it's normally something that you would use with every single client.
Gotcha. And I mean, another thought on this whole video aspect is that because everything's moving to video, you've got social media, but then YouTube is, some people kind of lump it in with social media, but it's really not social media.
Yeah, it's its own search engine for sure. The other element of that, and even with Matterport is a link that you have to have the link to be able to see it. Whereas with YouTube, I can put it on YouTube and it's searchable everywhere. I can take that, I can embed that in my website, I can put that on other platforms. There's so much more versatility.
So it's getting broadcast wider, more viewability.
A lot more exposure, a lot more people seeing it, and it gives the ability for me to just send the link. Hey, I'm just going to send this over to this buyer who just said, hey, I'm interested in the house. Or, if the seller can then share that as well, and so forth. So it gives just a lot more reach.
So let me ask you this, because I know in Central North Carolina, we've had a lot of folks coming out of state.
Yep.
And there's some markets where that's a huge part of the business. A lot of folks coming in, a lot of folks that are either national or international.
Oh, totally.
How does that affect when you've got video, just that like first impression? And then really kind of COVID changed a lot of the way that people even look at homes now.
Oh, they totally changed that. I would say one of the biggest things, we have a story of one of these type of scenarios. So I listed a house that was out in the county, had some acreage to it. We did a pretty good video. I mean, it was a pretty solid one, but it reached to Florida, and we had buyers from Florida looking at that house. We also had buyers that ended up actually buying in North Carolina that we worked with because of that video. And so the reach out was there. And the other thing is it's trackable. So like I can go into YouTube and I can see what areas are viewing my videos. So I can see trackability. I can advertise them in certain platforms. There's a lot more stretch and reach that way. So you can do those. But the other side of that is as you're kind of searching for homes and you're out of state, especially if you're like a sight unseen kind of buyer, which we've had.
We have more and more of those.
If you're an investor and you're looking at buying investment properties or you're trying to do something, when you go through those houses and you're like, all right, the video tour showed me everything I needed to know. It's in good shape. It's this, it's that. That's super helpful to them, and that's going to draw them in to either want to make an offer or to be at a place where they say, hey, I want to have my agent go in and do a walkthrough. So it pushes a little bit better that way. And North Carolina is, as a whole, centrally is really expanded, but even in North Carolina in general is probably one of the highest moving states that we have. People coming out of state from up north, coming from, because we're right in the middle of everything. And so we've had distribution centers, Amazon's come in, we've had
you got Facebook Meta, you got Google. Everybody's launching headquarters really within an hour radius of where we are right now.
Exactly.
So it's bringing a lot of, and I would say even international folks in some situations in, which has been kind of new for North Carolina up until last, say, 20 or 30 years.
Exactly.
But it's really caused, in my opinion, not only are you have people that can find your house from out of state, but they may find another house that we've done a video tour on.
That's right.
That sold a few months ago, and then they end up getting into a playlist and finding this particular seller's house too.
Exactly.
Because like you said, you had somebody from Florida reach out to you that didn't buy that house, but they ended up finding another house in the area. So that makes a lot of sense that you would, you want to expand the reach, but you want to do it in a way that the population is already trending towards, which is video, and then staying in a place where it's 19 out of 20 homes, we can run video easier than we can run a 360 tour.
Oh, 100%. Well, that same house, the one that we got the Florida stuff from, that house actually sold on Facebook. The buyer reached out to me through Messenger, which is not the best idea. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But that's what they did. They reached out to me through Messenger and said, we want this house.
Okay, wow.
They saw the video. They hadn't even been in the house.
Okay.
He made a verbal offer over Facebook.
Wow.
To me and said, hey, I'm doing this. I said, well, you need to first get an agent and you need to write it up on paper.
Yeah.
They came back and they're the ones that ended up buying that house.
Wow.
And they, of course, went significantly overpriced
and
won that bid.
And that's happening more and more and more. So to not be in the video means that you're a step behind in technology.
That's right.
To not be working with people, and that doesn't have to be us, that can be whoever, but to be working with an organization that's pushing video, knows how to distribute video, knows how to get it onto the different platforms, and knows how to operate that within the context of the giant search engine that is YouTube.
That's right.
I mean, all of those are important pieces of the puzzle. So it's not just that you took a video, because you can pay someone to take video.
Oh, 100%.
But then it's the distribution of that video.
Well, and I mean, let me tell a little story about Cam. When Cam and I hadn't been together, he did a video.
I didn't even know how to operate my own Facebook, okay? Much less stick a video on it.
So he was like, man, I'm gonna do a video. So he did a video on this house, and I mean, it was a great video. Video looked great, everything about it. But he put it on, I think he put the link for Facebook or the link for YouTube onto Facebook. I think it had, 5 or 6 people liked it or whatever. And so, but it just stayed there, it died there. It was on YouTube, but that was it. And it didn't really get marketed out other than that. And so that house, I think it took a little bit. You ended up selling the house, but it took a little bit longer.
It did take a little while. I remember that house, yeah. And I remember you calling me and say,
let's do this, and this.
If you would just if you just write it up this way and embed it like this, which of course was all French to me, then you'd get like 4 times, 5 times as many views.
Yep.
And
so
you were right.
It ended up being one of those things where it was, it was learning, which, I mean, my first videos, if you guys go back in our playlist and you look at the first ones, there were 2 park videos and they were terrible. They were like a minute long. I think it had 100 views on all of them, and that was it. But it was, the colors were terrible. The video itself was bad. I wasn't even in it. I took a still picture and put it in there. But the whole idea is that we've learned that process.
Right.
Like we started at, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
And now we're at a place where we maximized it to the place where now we're benefiting from it, and so are our clients.
Yeah.
And so any agent that's doing it, I mean, anybody can go shoot a video. The problem is that video has to be communicated in the correct way, and that can be through description, through titles, through whatever, but it also has to be put in the right platforms so people see it.
Right.
And so when you do that, and Cam is like leaps and bounds from there. I mean, you guys can look at our stuff now and you see how many views we're getting. And so it's just the learning progression of it. And then some agents are never going to do it, and some agents are going to do it, but they're going to do it halfway.
Right.
And there's the difference of doing it right and doing it, lackadaisical, or every other video, or maybe this house or that house, and choosing. But we do that with every single house that we shoot.
Yep.
We do video. Even if it's a rental, we've shot videos of rentals that were not in great shape.
We did an awesome video of a piece of raw land.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
So
it was just a block of dirt, and it sold in 24 hours, which is pretty amazing.
And I think it was actually the client even said, they said, I've sent this to everybody, and that's where we got an offer from.
Yeah. Well, one other thing, just as far as the length of the video, what would you recommend as far as the length of video? If somebody's saying, hey, I'm going to talk with a videographer, or I'm going to do it myself, what's ideal? Is it longer is better, shorter is better, what?
Well, people have short attention spans. I would say most of our videos I try to keep under a minute. I try to be at 59 seconds, mainly because I can put that on multiple platforms.
Okay.
I can do that in a reel. I can do that in a short. I can do that in Instagram reels, whatever it is. So we can put those together. But we don't just do one video. We do a standard, your landscape type video like you'd see on YouTube. But then we take it and we also do a secondary video where it's in a real format. So we hit both platforms that way, which gets us a lot more exposure. But I would say your standard landscape videos that you see on YouTube, those can probably be, I would say, no more than 2 minutes.
Okay.
That's good rule of thumb. If you put too much in there, it's a house. It needs to show the features that people want to see.
Sure.
And I would try to keep it, if you're shooting it, this is just for a videographer or whoever, if you're shooting it, I would shoot with interest, boring, so that you continue to keep people's view on it. Because if you try to show everything in the beginning of the video and then nothing at the end of the video, then people are like, oh, okay, and they'll check out in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I would try to keep them that way. Shorter is always better, but if it's a large home or something like that, then you can have expansion. I've seen videos that are 3 and 4 minutes, but they're like $1 million homes, they're on large acreage. There's a lot to show, so that makes more sense.
Right.
Standard home, let's say 1,500 square foot, 2,000 square foot house, sitting on a 1/4 acre lot, a minute and a half at max is what I'd probably say for that horizontal video. If you go on portrait, I'd try to keep it under that minute just so you can get it into all the platforms.
Gotcha. And then one thing that you do that's really cool is I've seen you where you'll do a last shot, kind of an exit shot, and it's actually a drone shot. Yeah. And it'll start right at ground level, maybe on the back porch or front porch or wherever, and then it just shoots up way high in the air really fast. And actually, it's super cool. Well, one, it just looks cool, but it'll show like the proximity to downtown, or it'll show the proximity to the interstate or whatever, which is always just, and you can put it in the description 4 minutes from downtown. Yeah. But when you just see all of a sudden that here's the tree line and there's the city right there. That's right. That can just have a really cool effect. So anyway, just a little tip of some stuff. I mean, we could talk for hours on video, and he's got the nerdiness that I don't even want to watch. But I think that kind of gives just an overview of some of the reasons why we push video.
Oh, totally.
And again, when you talked with me about it and you started explaining it, it was like, wow, that makes so much sense. And I had been missing out in my business before you and I collaborated. I've been missing out on so much potential traffic that my buyers, or my sellers could have had from potential buyers because I wasn't marketing video correctly. So anyway, just really thankful. This guy's pretty cool. I like him. And that just about wraps it up for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to continue our seller series. Stay tuned, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe, like the channel, share this video with somebody that may need to have some more of this information if they're looking to buy or sell. Tell them to reach out to us. We'd love to work with them, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
All right.